Hi everyone! I thought I would come and give you a look inside of CLE, or Christian Light Education, Reading 2. I have two of the teacher's guides, two of the readers, or the two readers, and only two of the light units, but they are pictured inside of the teacher's books, so, okay. It should be okay. And I'll explain the red folder here in just a moment. So let's get started by looking at the light units. Alright, so let's look inside of Reading 2, the book, or Light Unit 1. So we open it up and we see the notes to teacher and students explaining the different symbols. And each light unit is broken up into sections. They all have 3 sections inside of them, and each section has 4 lessons and a quiz, except for the third section, which has the self-check and the light unit test. And then we flip it open, and we have a coloring page with the pronunciation key. And then we go into lesson 1. Lesson 1 has a story. This lesson is on directions. And then each of these blocks right here is a new skill that's getting introduced, and the teacher needs to help explain the skill. And then you have the questions for the child to answer. And I like how by each of these it has a checkbox. So like after they get done with the lesson, they go back through, make sure they've done everything correctly, and then as they check each one, they check the box. And then we go into lesson 2, answering questions. Again, we have that pinkish box, which is the new skill that the teacher needs to help with. And then the answer, or the questions. We're going over vowels and consonants, study words, and I like how this also introduces or brings in drawing and art into it. Like right here, they have to draw a picture of a church, draw a tree on the left side of the church, draw a car on the right side of the church, draw the sun above the church, color the church brown, and bright house of God under the picture. So I really enjoyed that. And then lesson 5 is when the first quiz gets introduced, and I like how this is set up. Like, I love how this is set up. It says, read an instant recall words list to your teacher. So they have to read one of the lists. Use this checklist to review for quiz 1. I reviewed the remember in section 1. After they do that, they check the box. I can say the Bible verse, Ephesians 5:20. After they do that, they check the box. And then it says, when you are ready, ask your teacher for quiz 1. Now the quizzes are in the test, well the test is, but the quizzes are not like in, like they are in the math or anything like that. Excuse me. They were in the center of the book, like the center. So I ended up having to take them out because I'll show you how they were, which I'm going to come up with a better way to store these later on. But they were in the light unit like this. Alright? So whenever the child would open up to the quiz, they would think, okay, so it's just front and back. When in reality, you had to flip to get to the last part of the quiz. So you had to go through quiz 2 and the test. So I took them out, and so I could just hand it to the child, to my child like this. Alright, but here is a look at quiz 1. Circle the butterfly, draw a line under the tree, cross out the bush, draw a cloud in the sky. So it's going over directions. And then you have to read the story, and then circle the correct word for each picture, and then that is it. Alright, I'll go ahead and show you the test. I love how it still continues with each test begins with a Bible verse. But here's the test. Circle the word that are opposite in each set. Circle the word with the correct vowel set for each picture. Write the number of the Bible verse above that goes with each sentence set below. Compare the words, and circle the answer to each question. So there we are. And then I'll show you what the last lesson in here looks like. Well, I'll show you the self-check. The last lesson and the self-check. Alright, so this is the last lesson. And then the self-check. And right here, it tells them how to prepare for the self-check. It says to prepare for the self-check, review the remember and the Bible verses, Ephesians 5:20, Exodus 20:15, Proverbs 12:10. Tell your teacher when you're ready to start the self-check. So I like how that is done. Alright. And then this is a look inside of the second light unit. It has the same thing. Has the note to the teacher and the students, sections, 3 sections, 4 lessons, and a quiz for each section, self-check and light unit test. And then you have your coloring page with your pronunciation key, the same orangish pinkish box introducing the new skills, and then you have your questions. And I did the same thing with this as I did with the first light unit for the quizzes and test. So, right here's the memory verse. Memorize the Bible verse and say it to your teacher, right there. And then later on, where's that? Memorize the Bible verse and say it to your teacher. Sorry about that, I had a sneeze. Then you have your quiz, and it's set up the same exact way. Read the recall words, review the remembers, and say, make sure they can say the Bible verse. And I'll show you what the quizzes and the tests look like for this one. This is quiz 1. Draw a line between the 2 words to make a compound word. Write words from the box to complete the Bible verse. You got a story. Underline the root words. Circle the suffixes. Circle the correct diagraphs to make the words. That's quiz 1. Then this one, circle the letters that say underline the answer to each question. Story. Write words from the box to complete the Bible verse. So I really enjoy that. This is the test. Circle the letters that make the sound of the bold letters. Draw a line between the 2 words to make a compound word. Underline the answer to each question. Scan the phrases in numbers 18, 19, and which phrase did you find the word when? And then circle the number. Match each question to its answer. And so I think this is going to be pretty good for the kids. I'll show you the last lesson and the self-check. So right here is the last lesson. Right there's the Bible verse. And God said, behold, I have given you every herb bearing seed. Genesis 1:29. Then you have the remember. Scan page 89 in your reader for the word corn. Circle the number of times the word is on the page. So it really makes them get into the story and into the Bible and all that. And then you have your self-check. Underline the root words. Underline real or pretend to make the sentence true. Write words from the box to complete each Bible verse. Match each question to its answer. And scan the story for the word apple. Circle the number of times the word is in the story. So I think this is going to be pretty cool. Now let's look at the teacher's guide. Alright, so here are the 2 teacher's guides. I have one Sunrise 2nd edition and one in just regular Sunrise edition. If you think that's going to create a problem for me, can you leave that down in the comments and just let me know, like, hey girl, that's not going to work. But we have the helping hands and the happy hearts. And the teacher's editions are set up the same exact way for the most part. We have the introduction, and it lays out each light unit for you. And then you have your appendices. Introduction to the course. Goals for reading 200. It's to implant biblical principles for living. to foster a lifelong love of reading, to increase comprehension and analytical skills, to provide practice in reading familiar words and decoding unfamiliar ones, to use diacritical marks as an aid in decoding words, to promote swift, silent reading and smooth oral reading with full comprehension. So that is pretty good. Then we have the components of Reading 200. How to use the teacher's guide. Let me see. There we go. And then it tells you all about the different symbols. And how to use the light units. It has daily lesson plans over here. Okay. Evaluating reading skills. How to teach the course. And talks about the conducting oral reading class, poetry selections, sounds and diacritical markings. And then you get into your lesson. So we have lesson 1, and it tells you right here, 2 introductory lessons teach students to follow directions carefully. These 2 lessons are not based on any story in the reader. The student's light unit contains all that is needed. Alright, so then you have your objectives, optional class preparation, and then you just dive right into lessons. And this box right here tells you, these are like teacher helps. So this tells you like shaded boxes in a lesson indicate that a new skill is being taught. Alright, and it also tells you that it's important for you to do the new skill with them. Like this one right here. Teaching students to follow directions is an important responsibility you have this year. And then the airplane, it tells you right up here in the symbols what the airplane means. Optional activities that add fun and variety to the routine. So then that tells you right here. And this one right here is telling you how, about making flashcards of direction words. And then you go into lesson 2. Again, you have your objectives, review, and then your new things that are being taught, which you will see are in the shaded boxes and the light units. Alright, and then let's skip ahead to show you inside of 203. Okay, 203, objectives, optional class preparation, and it says make it visual. See page 97, and then it tells you about the phonics cards, what phonics cards to use, board preparation, and it also tells you when to introduce the stories. Sorry, can't think. Okay, and he tells you about your study words right here, and then this is what it looks like inside of that light unit. So you have your study words, and then student work, and then new facts. Okay, and then it says tell students E, I, and Y are the snaky vowels. When C stands beside them, they hiss and say tss. So it makes it fun. And then it has to remember. Okay, oral reading. Questions for discussion. Poem, funny the way different cars start. And it's on pages 104 and 105. Sounds like my son got a hold of tape. Bible verse. Alright. And then I'll show you the last lesson. Right here, show you the last lesson, and then the self-check. Okay, so this is the last lesson for 203. Alright, and then here's the self-check right here. So that's the self-check. Alright, and then I'll show you inside of this one. Okay, let's see here. It's the same exact thing that's in that first one that's in front of here. So this one has, right there's the pronunciation key. Oh, sorry. And then this is how this is set up differently than in that one. Might be a little bit more complicated, but it's okay as far as that's concerned. This is lesson 206, lesson 1, or light unit 206, lesson 1. Lesson 1. This one has a word box. And then let's look at the last lesson in 206. Okay. 14. Alright. This is the last lesson in 206. Alright, and let's see the last lesson altogether. 210, lesson 14. Alright. So this is the last lesson. That's what it looks like. And this, we'll look at the test, the light unit test. Okay, this is the very last light unit test. That's what it looks like. Okay. All right, and then you have through here, you have your glossary. You have the list of the study words and the light units. And again, this is set up exactly how that one is. I know I forgot to show you in that one. Then we have instant word lists, story verses, scope and sequence, and for each light unit. Comprehension skills and mechanics skills. And then you have your alternate tests. Alright, so one thing I did notice, let me see. Yeah, all these are alternate tests. Okay, so one thing that is different. Okay, so this has books for further reading for first grade, second grade, third grade, and then more advanced. Stories and poems. Alright, so the one thing that is different is, I'll show you the back of this one. Let me get to it. Alright. Scripture verses, reading assessment, and then you have your reading assessment record, and then the different light unit tests. Sorry, guys. Stories and poems and helping hands. Books for further reading. See, this is the first grade, and this is the second grade, and it continues with second grade. It does not have books for third grade or more advanced in it. So that, and it also has the word list. Let me see if I can find the word list. Study words in alphabetical. Instant recall words. But this, where is that? The scope and sequence. I'll be right back. Alright, so this has scriptural truths and character traits, and it has where exactly they're found and what light unit and everything. Then you have your instant recall words, has exactly where they're located right here, and then right here it tells you exactly what story and all that, and you can make up your own little like flashcards with these if you'd like. See, it tells you exactly what story they're found in and everything. Light unit. And then scripture verse for each story. Alright, so now let's get into the books themselves. Alright guys, so I did get these used. So they are a little banged up and everything else, but they will do to serve their purpose. So this is a look inside of the Helping Hands books. And it has a table of contents and tells you exactly where every story is and everything like that. And then you go into your story. They have bold words for your instant recalls. And the stories aren't too difficult. I love how the pictures are. I like the whole black and white, less color is better thing. If you guys want to further look inside of these, just comment below and I'll get my cleaner ones out. For some reason I just grabbed the used ones. Alright, same thing with this one, table of contents. Not very many pictures, big words though. Black and white. Alright, so that is a look at those. Alright guys, so that was a look at CLE or Christian Light Education's Reading 2. If you guys like these videos, give it a big thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to see further videos. If you guys have any questions or comments, just leave them down in the comments box and I will look at them. Thank you. Bye.